Pillars of Eternity 1 Complete Edition Guide. Companion Grieving Mother build as a Cipher. This build was made to work on Path of the Damned difficulty, and if it works on the hardest difficulty available, it will work on all other difficulties as well. Let's not waste time, let's go. First of all, let's say a few words about Grieving Mother, or better to say a Cipher. The bigger your attack speed is, the faster you'll accumulate focus, and the faster you accumulate focus, the faster you'll be able to cast powerful Cipher spells. That's how Cipher works. What we want here is a flat DPS build, no matter where you go with the base attacks or with spells. You wanna hurt with Cipher as much as you can. Let's level up Grieving Mother. As far as the skills go on Grieving Mother from level 2, what you need in a team, that's what you're gonna get. If you need lore, you'll get lore. If you need mechanics, you're gonna get mechanics. Okay, if you don't have mechanics on Alot or on some other characters, on Kana and so on, then you're gonna get your mechanics here. If you don't play with Sagani and with her stealth, you might get stealth on Grieving Mother. So now it's your choice what you want to do and how you want to do it. What I would recommend here is ramping up stealth, and we move on. Because I guess you're gonna need one character for stealth, yeah? The very first power, or better to say spell, that we're gonna learn on level 2 on a Cipher would be Ice Strike, flat debuff on enemies. They gonna miss. In other words, they don't deal damage when you cast blind them. Not only that you blind enemies with Ice Strike, you also daze them. What we wanna take for the first talent is 33% increased focus gain. We wanna build up focus fast, and that's the entire point when playing as a Cipher. So, Draining Whip on level 2. On level 3, we're going in with Stealth. We say next. And now we can take 2 Cipher powers. One should be crowd control, the other one should be damage. As far as damage goes, we're gonna take Amplified Thrust. It's absolutely insane. You cast it on an ally, then it jumps on an enemy and deals tremendous amount of pierce damage. One of the best Cipher spells early on in the game. And now we can pick between Mental Binding, which would be flat paralyze on enemies, or a boss killer spell called Recall Agony. This is your choice what you want to do. I would recommend Mental Binding, but again, Recall Agony is a boss killer. On level 4, we're sticking with Stealth. We say next. And now we're gonna take Recall Agony for the bosses. Now, what we're gonna take on level 4 would be Biting Whip, or better to say, we increased range damage by 20%. On level 5, we're sticking with Stealth, we say next. And now, for the spells tier 3, again we can take 2. We always want to go one into crowd control, the other one into damage. Now, as far as crowd control goes, it's a Puppet Master. You flat tap dominate enemy for 24 seconds, basically it's a free summon. And for the damage dealing, of course, it's Soul Ignition with 140 burn damage over 15 seconds. It's absolutely nuts. So, Puppet Master into Soul Ignition on level 5. On level 6, we're taking Stealth, we say next. And now we're gonna take yet another debuff with Secret Horrors to frighten and sicken enemies. Extremely good because it lasts very long as well. This is a huge debuff. For the talent, we're taking Greater Focus and increase maximum focus. The more focus you have, the more spells you can cast as a Cipher. On level 7, we're going with Stealth. And again, we got Power Spike here with 2 different spells, one damage, the other one for crowd control. Now, as far as crowd control goes, body attunement, you just remove damage reduction from enemies and put it on yourself. It's not about putting damage reduction on yourself, it's about removing damage reduction on an enemy. This is extremely good debuff. For the damage dealing spell, we got 2 options. The first is a Mind Lance, the second one is a Silent Scream. Mind Lance is flat damage, while Silent Scream also gives us stun and unavoidable raw damage, so in this case we're taking Silent Scream. On level 8, we're keeping the points for Stealth, and we say next. Now we're gonna take one buff. How we stole damage reduction from enemies. Now we can give 10 damage reduction to allies. Usually want to give it to a dare or to some other bruiser so they can sustain more damage. So pain block it is. You're using pain block on choke points when only one character is tanking. Later about it. Now what we want is weapon focus on peasant, or better to say we want hunting bow, because hunting bow is the fastest bow in a game. On level 9 we're taking stealth, and here we're gonna take ringleader, or better to say this is AoE dominate, not a single target dominate anymore. Now you dominate a group of enemies to fight for you. Extremely great spell. The next one that we're gonna take is a damage dealing spell called Detonate. It's a great one because it attacks fortitude, it deals crush damage. On level 10 we're keeping the points for stealth. We can add 1 point into athletics for the second wind, and we say next. And as far as the less power goes, on this tier 5 we're gonna take borrowed instinct. Remove perception out of enemies also means removing accuracy out of enemies. They're gonna hit you less, so borrowed instinct in this case. Now for the talents, into offensive talents we're gonna take marksman, or better to say we're gonna get additional accuracy with a hunting bow. On level 11 we're going with stealth, we say next. And for tier 6 powers, as far as the damage dealing spell goes, it's disintegration. It's 330 raw damage. It's absolutely nuts. And the other one that we're gonna take is amplified wave, so we can make enemies prone for over 10 seconds. On level 12 we're keeping the points for stealth, we say next. And now we're gonna take mind plague for daze and confuse, and it jumps also on targets. Great crowd control spell, but definitely gonna use prone more often than this one. And now it is time that we take Psychic Backlash. Whenever someone attacks Cipher's will, they get stunned immediately for nearly 5 seconds. Extremely good to have. On this level again, on level 13 we're taking stealth, and for the tier 7 powers, now we take both Stasis Shell and Time Parasite. On level 14 we just say next, and we're gonna learn Tactical Meld from tier 5 this time. As far as the talents go, it's Brutal Backlash. It's basically an upgrade to the previous Backlash that we took. Not only that you're gonna stun enemies when you defend versus will, you're also gonna deal raw damage to those enemies. On level 15 we're taking Stealth, and the final tier for the Cipher powers would be Reaping Knives, that is extremely great summon, and Defensive Mind Web, which is extremely great friendly aura. For the final level, level 16, we're gonna put point into survival, mechanics, lore, athletics, until we expend all the points, because now we got huge amount of stealth, and this is how it's supposed to look like at the end of level 16 for the Cipher. You only care about stealth basically here. The final spell that we're gonna learn, or better to say the final power, would be the tier 1 Tenuous Grasp for the extra fright, and this is how we finish the Cipher. As far as the last talent goes, what we wanna take here instead of the usual sneak attack is Outlander Frenzy, because it gives extra attack speed and extra damage. Now, damage so and so, but extra attack speed means huge pile up of focus, okay? And you need focus to cast spells, so we're using Outlander's Frenzy, and we're finishing with the Cipher. How do we play Cipher? You sneak and you wait to attack enemies and build up focus with basic attack. When fighting a tougher enemy, you wanna cast Ice Strike. Early game, the best damage dealing spell would be Amplified Trust. When enemies are annoying, you can always opt in to paralyze them with Mental Binding. Also, early game, one of the best damage dealing spells is Soul Ignition, and you can always opt in to Charm. Now, what is the priority here? Definitely, it's Dominate. Dominate is absolutely great. Mid-game, 4, 5, and 6. The best one in tier 4 would be the Silent Scream, and you're gonna use it often. Then, also you can opt in for Detonate when you need damage, but Borrowed Instinct is the boss killer. And on tier 6, the best one by far would be Mind Plague, or better to say AoE, Dazed and Confused. Late game, tier 7 and tier 8, you wanna rush down Defensive Mind Web to get those defenses on all allies at maximum. This is extremely good, especially when you have an Omega tank in your team. Everyone takes his defenses and everyone becomes an Omega tank while the defensive mind web lasts, and it's not little, it's 44 seconds. It's absolutely crazy good. I'm not saying how summoning is not great with ripping knives, but this is just for Pot of the Dam, defensive mind web is the best Cipher spell in the game. Also on tier 7, it's Time Parasite. If you feel like you have enough focus, you can always cast Time Parasite as well. Do not forget to open every fight with Outlander's Frenzy for that extra attack speed, so you accumulate focus faster so that you can cast all of these spells faster. And that's the entire point with a Cipher. Itemization on a Cipher. What we want for weapons is only and only hunting bows, because hunting bows provide the fastest attack speed as far as ranged weapons go in a game. So we got Persistence, Crooked Bee Bow, and Masuk Hunting Bow, as well as the Soulbound Stormcaller, the best Soulbound hunting bow in a game, and the Prey Maker. Now, which one is the best? The best one by far is the Soulbound hunting bow, and as far as unique goes, it's Persistence. And that's about it. Now, as far as the armor goes, I was using the Husk of the Great Western Stag as the armor. You want to be in light armor non-stop, and the next options that you have would be these three: Raiment of Whale's Eyes, Angia's Gambizon, and Elrin Jacket. The best one by far would be Mirror Image, Raiment of Whale's Eyes, to equip on a Cipher. Helmet, we're taking Rugged Wilderness Hat. For the amulet, we're going with a Talisman of Unconquerable, intellect and focus gain. Also, very good amulet on a Cipher would be the Mind Marker, because of the extremely good focus gain. As far as the rings go, this is very simple, straight up Reflex, Fortitude, Will, and Orlan Bramble Ring for the additional damage reduction on Pierce, as well as some extra defenses against Hubble Stuck Paralyze. Also, the rings that you can consider is the Ring of Overseeing for the bigger ability area of effect instead of this one, and of course, mega late game, Band of Union, which gives Blessing, Instilled Doubt, and 4 to Intellect. As far as the boots go, move speed, you wanna be fast as a Cipher to reposition and continue shooting and casting spells. Belt, flat up Broad Belt of Power for Might and Resolve. Bracers, armor speed penalty down, +1 to Dexterity, Pilferer's Grip, absolutely the best bracers on a Cipher. It makes Cipher extremely fast. Also, bracers that you can consider taking would be Gauntlets of Accuracy for additional accuracy, Comteza's Cage for the solitary, and of course Spiritual Power for the spell damage, as well as Fulvano's Gloves for flat dexterity, or Bracers of All-Consuming Rage for might and constitution. That depends out of the items, as I said 1,000,000 times so far. Attributes cannot stack on items, so care how you're gonna adjust itemization. That would be the Grieving Mother build as a Cipher. Again, Ciphers are extremely powerful in this game, but they take quite a lot to roll, okay, because you need to build up focus, and that takes time, and that's why we went on fast attack speed to build up focus faster. You don't rely to deal that much damage with a bow, you rely on your spells from focus. Bow is just there to accumulate the main resource to cast spells, and that's how you should play Cipher. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll be seeing you on the next one. Thanks for watching.